Hey guys, back here giving the GXP some love. Today's video is going to be about everything we've done to this thing to this point and what we still need to do. Just giving you guys kind of an update on this thing. But before that, we're going to give this thing some more love. It needs to be cleaned up. I've neglected this thing over the winter, and it definitely needs a nice wash and a nice vacuum on the inside. So we're going to start with that first. We ain't going to bore you with that too much. It's going to be a quick montage of that. Then we'll get into this list of everything we've done to this car to get it to this point. We like to do this in the front yard or with the car, but we can't seem to find a spot out of the wind, and it'd be nice for you guys to hear us. So we're going to do this right here in the backyard. I'm going to start out with purchase this car. Got the car for 500 bucks. It's going to the scrap yard, so I paid the scrap price of the car. It cost me $1,000 to put the car in my name because we have to pay sales tax up here in Canada, and they charged me the blue book value of the car, or the minimum blue book value of the car, which I believe was around $3,500 or something like that. So I had to pay about $1,000 with that and putting it in my name, cost me $1,000 bucks. Next, after that, we did pads and rotors on it just because the car sat for 3 years in the field, as you guys know, and it definitely needed, the brakes needed to be gone through. Then we did all the wheel bearings, trying to fix the ABS light, and which didn't work, but definitely needed wheel bearings anyway, another wear item. The transmission ended up costing me $1,900, which was the main problem with the car, is why the car sat and it was neglected. So the transmission cost me $1,900, and that was with them having to do some power steering lines too, because the power steering system didn't work, and I thought it was just a leaky line because I could see a hole in one of the lines. So I had them replace the lines. Turned out to be wasn't the problem if you could continue with this video. Next, we did inner and outer tie rods on both sides because one of the outer tie rod boots was in pretty rough shape. So instead of doing one of them, we just decided to do all of them so we wouldn't have any more issues. And then we did the front struts because if you guys seen that video, the coils were pretty gone on those struts. So we replaced the front struts and then got the first alignment with this thing, which cost me $100. Then, you know, things happened, ran out of money, got cold and stuff like that. So we took a couple months of hiatus working on this thing. And then you guys probably seen one of our latest videos of replacing the power steering rack on this car, which cost me $300. Wasn't too bad. You got to really thank Kyle for helping me out with that one. Next, we did the power steering pump, which finally fixed the power steering system on this car. It hasn't had power steering system since the previous owner had it too. So it was really nice to have the power steering system back in this car. Next, we did the rear struts because we already did the front, and we might as well do the rear too, and we could hear the top hat bushings going, so it was time to do the rear struts. Alright, which leads me on to the next thing we did was the crank balancer, and this wasn't too bad of a job since we already had that subframe down doing the power steering rack. Cost me about $200 though. It was a pretty pricey item for just a crank balancer. Mind you, all these prices are in Canadian too, and the exchange rate for us right now is horrible. Next thing we did was 4 wheels and tires in the second alignment, and they were used tires, so it only cost me $500 for the wheels and tires and alignment out the door. We also did the air filters, the cabin air filter and the engine air filter, cost me $50. We did the steering knuckle on the passenger side because the original one was cracked and it definitely just wasn't safe, definitely needed to be replaced. When I bought the car, the tail light was cracked as well, so we bought a new tail light at a junkyard that was only $50, which leads us on to our grand total of $5,890. It sounds pretty steep for just a Grand Prix. You know, I probably could have got a pretty nice one of these cars for $5,800, but I wanted to make this car like a good daily driver. You guys see us work on my other cars all the time, and I'm always working on something, so I'm hoping by the time I'm done this thing, I'm going to have a car that's going to be reliable for a bit, because that'd be a new thing for me, and be rather nice to have a cool car that's actually reliable. A lot of these things are wear items, which a lot of people are going to be replacing on their car anyway. The most major thing, like I mentioned earlier in the video, was the transmission being $2,000 of the initial cost, of our initial total cost, which would honestly bring this down to like $3,500. That's enough talking about how stupid I am, though, for dumping this much money into a Grand Prix. Let's just take this thing for a rip and talk about the cool things we have planned and what's left to fix on this thing, because believe it or not, it's still not done. Alright, so we're out here cruising the GXP. Alright, so we're out here cruising the GXP. This thing's definitely a lot better, and at least it's drivable now. But it still needs a couple little things. It's got a check engine light for the coolant blower motor, and tested the circuit. It's got a bad circuit. That's another thing that just came on for the brake system. So this car definitely is going to need to go to the shop for just the electrical stuff. I got a guy I know, and he's really good with electrical things, so I'm going to take it to him and see if I can get this thing wrapped up, at least the electrical, with him. Other than that, though, she just needs a couple little cosmetic things to the bodywork. Nothing too crazy. You guys know that door is pretty messed up, so we should probably do the door. And other than that, like maybe honestly alignment number 3, because as you guys, like, I'll show you guys in a minute that steering wheel is still not perfect, but I don't know what the cause could that be with all the steering work we've done to this. But that should wrap things up. Besides, one major thing that maybe you guys can help me is, why do these cars whine so much? Is it my AC compressor? What could it be? Like, I just don't understand. I replaced the power steering pump, thought it was that. Thing still whines like it's supercharged. So I have no idea. Maybe you guys help me out. Maybe it's just a factory thing and I'm just picky. But that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and give you guys a nice update on this car and, you know, how much I've dumped into this thing over the past couple of months. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, and please hit that subscribe button.